dear students, hope you're fine. In this lecture, we will try to solve the exercises of the chapter 32 related to matrices. Just in order to review with you the main concept that we have, or main techniques or formula that we have used in this chapter, at least to talk about addition when we have to add or subtract matrices, the multiplication of matrices, finding the inverse, transpose of a matrix, and then we need to find simultaneous equations to find unknowns in the simultaneous equations. So on, as you can see here, exercise 1 will be about addition and multiplication, and then exercise 2 related to the inverse of a matrix, transpose of a matrix, and then the last two exercises are related to simultaneous equations or system of equations with more than one unknowns. For example, here we have x, y, z, and w, 4 unknowns, and system with 4 equations and 4 unknowns. Akid we can do it manually, but it will take a lot of time, so it's better to do it using matrices, etc., etc. Okay, so let's start with the first one here. I will open a new Excel file. In this Excel file here, let's do each exercise in a sheet. So the first one, I will also save the file once for all. Solution exercises chapter 32. Okay, so I can share the file with you. So let's start with the first one. The first question here is the following. Pop up here. We have these two matrices and we want to add these two matrices. So using Excel, we can do it manually, but we will try to use Excel to do it. So we have to copy each of these matrices. أنا عشان يكونوا حدي I will just copy هولي وحطهم هون. Okay, so we have these A, B, and C questions. So let's start with the first one. For the question A, we will be doing the following. We will write the first one. Let's say here 2, 4, and 1. And we have 12, 8, 0, 12, 8, and 0. And last we have the last column 6, 7, and -9. So this is our first matrix, this one. And we need to add the second matrix here. We have the second matrix, Anna, 1, 8, and 1, 107. And finally, 2, -23, and 3. Great. So we would like to add these two. So إذا هذه سميناها M1 matrix 1 and this one matrix 2. So here we will do the addition M1 plus M2. Okay, so first of all, you should know that adding two matrices, we should have the same number of columns and same number of lines. We cannot add, for example, this matrix with this one. لأنه هيدي 3 by 3 and this one is a 2 by 3 matrix, so could not be added. Home, we will add the same, so we will have the same form, the same number of rows 3 and columns 3. And adding two matrices is very easy. You should add each element, the same element, or equivalent element, first element with the first one, second element with the second one, etc. So we can do it without a specific formula for matrices, just by doing, for the first one here, it will be this plus this one. Okay, and that's it. So we can drag now for the remaining part. We will get our M1 plus M2. Okay, we could have, for example, added M1 plus 3M2 or whatever. You can do whatever you want, M1 minus M2. So it will be the same. For example, if you want to do M1 plus 3 times M2, okay, it is feasible. ما بعرف ليش هون 38. Okay, instead of 8 I will put times M2. So هذا additional ما كانت demanded, بس I will do it. Again, بعمل equals 1 plus 3 times the value of M2, this one. Okay, and that's it. Or you can calculate 3 times M2 alone and then separately يعني بعدين add it here. So هيدي M1 plus 3 M2 أو you can find it like this if you لأنه we have already learned how to multiply a scalar a number يعني by a matrix. 3 times M2 we can put it like this 3 times each of the values here, so on 9 etc for these 3 values. So here we have 3M2, and if you want to find this one again using 3M2 adding M1 we can do it here to make sure that we have the same result. هيدي plus this one and you will get the same results مبدئيا up here we have the same results. Yes. Okay, so this was the answer of the first part of the first question اللي هي A, and so on. يعني هلا if we do the second one which is B, هون we have a multiplication, and for the multiplication هلا we need the specific formula which is M mult. So هون for multiplication we can use M mult function. Okay, so again we need to write these two equations or matrices for sorry, the first one here 2 5 and 6, and the second one is minus 9 0 and minus 6, right? Yes, and the second one is 3 2 and then 1 3 1 2 1 3 1 2. Okay, great. So hon we are multiplying this matrix with this one. So first of all, before doing the multiplication I would like to just to note that the number of columns and rows hon we have a condition that here we have 3 rows and 2 columns. So this one is a 2 by 3 matrix, 2 by 3 matrix like this. Okay, and this one is a sorry هون 3 rows 3 by 2 matrix, 3 by 2 matrix, and here we have a 2 by 3 matrix, so 2 rows and 3 columns. So are we able to multiply these two matrices? Yes we can لأنه we have the same number of يعني هيدي تاني part the column here is equal to the number of rows here. So if you go back to the lecture you will see that we will be able to multiply these two. And what is important is the following, when we do it هون we have 2 rows and 3 columns times هون 3 rows and 2 columns, we should have the following. يعني شو حيطلع معنا as a result؟ حيطلع معنا 3 by 3 matrix. So هون لازم تعرفوا انه 3 2 times 2 3 will be a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, لو كان العكس 2 3 times 3 2 كان طلعت 2 by 2 matrices. So هون نحن we expect the result to be here in this 3 by 3 matrix. So what we have to do is first of all to select the matrix أو number of cases يلي المفروض يكون فيهم result, and then click on M mult, so for M multiplication, and once you have the M multiplication Excel will ask you what is your first matrix and you will select this one, then what is your second matrix, you will select this one, and instead of hitting enter only you can hit Ctrl Shift enter and you will get the multiplication of these two. Okay, so لو هيدي الماتريكس هي A and this one is B, let's say, so here we have A times B. Okay, so هيدي المultiplication هون for these two matrices A times B. Great, we have a third one اللي هي كمان multiplication of two matrices. هلا هون we have let's say matrix C is the following. عندنا 2 4 and 1 0 8 and 0 and finally 6 7 and minus 9. So هيدي is our first matrix, and this matrix is a 3 by 3 matrix. So home we have a 3 by 3 matrix, and the second one is also a 3 by 3 matrix. So matrix D is a 3 by 3 matrix, and we have the following: 1 1 2 8 0 minus 2 and 1 7 3. So again here, if you want to do C times D, 3 by 3 times 3 by 3 will get a 3 by 3 matrix. So هون حتكون this one like this, and we will select the 3 by 3 equation, click on equal, and then M multiplication, open the bracket, select the first one, comma, select the second matrix, and close. You will get the result. Heide is the multiplication of these two matrices. Okay, so I think we have answered the first question on. It's okay, yes, ABC. We can now move to the second one, which is the inverse of a function. So again, I will get this part, I will copy it, go back to the Excel file, and a new sheet here, exercise 2. I will paste here the question. So first 1A, calculate the inverse of the first one, which is 1 2 4 5, and then we have 2 5 4 minus 2, 8 3 2 1, and finally 9 0 7 and 6. Okay, so we have this 4 by 4 matrix, 4 by 4 matrix, and the inverse of a matrix, it should be a square matrix, and this matrix الانverse تبعها كمان it will be a 4 by 4 matrix. So we will have again هون الانverse is also a 4 by 4 matrix. Okay, we will be using هون for the inverse a function called M inverse. Okay, M inverse. So let's select again the 4 by 4 matrix اللي هي فيها result, and click on M inverse, and you can now click on this. Excel will ask you what is array يعني table يعني matrix that you will be using to calculate your values or your matrix, inverse of your matrix. Again, Control Shift Enter, and you will get the inverse of the first one. So إذا هيدي كانت A, capital A, this one is A minus 1. Okay, هيدي الانverse matrix. هلا to make sure انه what we have done is correct, we can do the following. بس just to make sure انه الشغل تبعنا مظبوط, we can multiply A by A minus 1. So both matrices فينا نضربهم ببعضهم هون بهيدي البارت 4 by 4 هون this one. If we put equal M mult, and normally the multiplication of A by its inverse will lead to an identity matrix. So هون just to make sure انه شغلنا مظبوط, multiplying these two matrices, Control Shift Enter, will lead to a 1 1 1 1 identity matrix, وهو تقريبا 0 لأنه 10 to the power minus 16 يعني very low number. Okay, so هيدي الستep ما كانت مطلوبة, بس انه again just to make sure that what we are doing is fine. So will be هون the second one حنسميها الماتريكس B. Same thing, ما حاعمل C لأنه it is the same, so I will be just doing the B. 3 6 7, and we have 2 minus 1 and 4 1 3 3. Great. So again home we have this matrix, and we will calculate B minus 1. It will also be a 3 by 3 matrix, so our result will be here, equal M inverse, open the bracket, select the matrix that you would like to calculate its inverse, and enter, and voila, you have B minus 1. Okay, هذا كان exercise 2. I will not do this C لأنه it is the same as A مبدئيا. Great. Let's move now to the third question, which is calculate the transpose of a matrix. So here we have the following. In exercise 3, let's paste the question here. We have the first one, A, matrix A is the following. What do we have? 3, minus 15, and 6. Then we have 2, 4, and minus 9. Third one, we have 1, 1, 1. Great. So Heidi is our A. And usually, in order to find the transpose of A, so هنسميها AT. The transpose of A مبدئيا we will be إذا بتتذكروا transpose is to exchange a number of lines with number of columns. يعني a row will become a column and the column will become a row. يعني for example this one is the first column. هون حتصير the first row. 3 minus 15 6 حتصير هون 3 minus 15 6. We can do it manually بس كمان we can use this function m or no without m transpose like this. So just to make sure انه كيف تنكتب. So I will click on equal transpose يعني كاملة like why not transpose and select what you are going to transpose. Control Shift Enter. So هون the function is transpose. Great. So we have here AT, the transpose, and you can see that the first column here is now the first row, third column is the third row, the first row here is now the first column. Okay, great. So again we can do it for the B. هلا B is more interesting لأنه it was a square matrix, so خلاص transpose of a 3 by 3 is also a 3 by 3 matrix. هون B is a bit different لأنه B is a 3 by 1 2 3 4 5 matrix. So the transpose of B, since we are transposing, so we are switching between the lines and columns, we expect that it will be a 5 by 3 matrix. عرفتوا لأنه هون 3 rows 5 columns, we will get the opposite 5 rows and 3 columns. So هون our first one, which is هيدي matrix, we have 1 minus 2 and 3. We have 2 7 and minus 3. We have 3 minus 9 and 11. And finally we have 4 0 and 12. No, بعد في وحدة, it's 5 0 and 1. So this is our matrix, and since it is a 3 by 5 هون we will get a 5 by 3 matrix. يعني هون حيكون 3 وبننزل 5 like this. So our matrix will be here. So if we click on transpose, open the bracket, select your matrix, click Ctrl Shift Enter, and you will get here you have the first line or column, sorry, 1 minus 2 3 is now the first row. Or for example the first row here 1 2 3 4 5 is now the first column. Okay, so that's how we calculate the transpose of a function. Let's now move to the exercise 4. Sorry, in the exercise 4 here we have the following. We have a system of 4 equations with 4 unknowns. Okay, so 4 equations with 4 unknowns. Our goal is to find out in this one what is the value of x. So x equals how much, y, z, and finally w. Great. So here what we have to do is the following. First of all, we have to transform this system of equation using multiplication, matrix multiplication is about called model. Our system of equation using matrices على هذا الفورم a times x equals y, and a it will be the parameters matrix. So on a will be the parameters matrix and a 4 by 4. So a is a 4 by 4 matrix, and we will have the following 3 2 0 and 1. وهول 3 2 0 and 1 هن values multiplied by x, and then parameters or values multiplied by y in order هن 4 minus 1 1 and 1 also. Okay, great. So نحن عم نعمل هيدي 4 by 4. We now have the third one, which is minus 6 0 1 and minus 1 0 1 and minus 1, and the last one here minus 9 1 1 and 0. It's important to put a 0 and do not leave it blank. Okay, since we don't have a w, يعني w was multiplied by 0. So here is our first matrix. The second matrix الx هي الاكس الكبيرة هن الفاليوز أو الانونز يلي هن x y z and w. هول اللي نحن عم نفتش عليهم. So هون حنحطهم بالجرين and later on we will see or we will find x y z and w. And finally the y matrix or vector here is the vectors of إذا بدكم values 15 2 3 and 1. Great. So now in order to find x, remember what we have said in class. So if you have the following, ax equals y, we want to eliminate a in order to find x. That is our goal. So in order to eliminate a, we cannot divide y directly by a. We will multiply by the inverse of a, يعني a minus 1. So if we do a minus 1, the first part, and we multiply a minus 1 by here البارت الثاني اللي هي هيدي this one. So if we go back here, if we multiply a minus 1 times ما بدنا سو حنكتبها a times x. So نحن أخذنا the left side of the equation and we have added a minus 1. ملاحظين a minus 1 times a times x. We have to do the same من تاني ميلة. So a minus 1 which is the inverse of a should be multiplied by y. Great. So by doing so, here we can see that a minus 1 times a is an identity matrix, يعني كأنه 1 يعني حتروح هيصير عندنا x equals, as we have seen, a minus 1 times y, and that's it. Heda is our goal, is to find out x, and you will get x simply by multiplying two matrices, and you already know how to multiply two matrices. Already عملنا check here exercise 2 how we وين هون exercise 1 how we multiply two matrices. So منا مشكلة. But one of these matrices is an inverse matrix. كمان it's not a big deal لأنه you already know how to find the inverse of a matrix. So if we go back here, we can directly find x. So هيدي الx هون will be the multiplication of a minus 1 times y. A minus 1 is a 4 by 4 matrix, and this one is a 4 by 1 matrix. مش هيك؟ هيدي is a 4 by 1 matrix. So إذا بنعمل 4 by 4 times 4 by 1, we will have a 4 by 1 matrix. يعني نحن our results will be كمان هون هول الأربعة حنلاقيهم هون. So here what we are going to do is the following: equals. You can calculate the inverse لحاله and then add multiply a minus 1 times x، أو فيكم تعملوها دغري. يعني أنتوا you need to use m multiplication. The first one is not a, is the inverse of a. So بكل بساطة we can write in m inverse and use it directly هيدي الفورمولا to calculate this one. هلا الفرق انه it will not be displayed على هون somewhere بالاكسل شيت، بس خلص هو the first block array 1 بالm mult هي هيدي inverse of a, and now he's asking, Excel is asking for array number 2 يعني الثاني part يلي هي y here. Okay, so هلا أنا I have the following: I have multiplied m inverse يعني a minus 1 which is this one times y which is هيدي. Control Shift enter. So normally I will have these results. Holy, what is the value of x? 3.02, y is 167, Z is 3.70 and W is minus 2.38. هلا إذا بدكم تتأكدوا you can now go back to the main formula اللي هي هون وتشوفوا إذا عن جد if we multiply whole we will get 15, 2, 3 and 1 يعني إذا if we do A times X we will get Y. إذا A times X تطلع Y يعني it's correct. So sorry, A times X equals Y, so it will be correct. So A times Y, A times X, 4 times 4 و 4 times 1, it will also be a 4 times 1. رح نحطها بشي لون تاني حتى نشوف. And let's try equals M mult. So هون just to make sure إنه الريزلت عنا صح. M multiplication of A, comma, and the values تبع X, and that's it. And we've got the Y اللي هي x231. So yes, it's correct. And that's it. One is just يعني هذا الريزلت عنا هو هون. Just you have to write this one M mult, M inverse, etc. etc. A1 times A. Great. So هيدي البارت هون exercise 4 بتصور that's it. Yes. And finally solve the equation AX equal Y هون it's the same. We have to find X. Now you know how to deal with this kind of questions, so we'll do it here. Exercise 5, we will display the values here. So هون هلا we have the following. A, the matrix A, we have 13 minus 8 and minus 3 check, minus 8, 10 and minus 1, and finally minus 3, minus 1 and 11. So هيدي matrix A. Second matrix, which is the matrix Y, is the following: 20 minus 5 and 0. Great. So هون it is a 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 matrix, and here we have a 3 by 1 matrix, 3 rows, 1 column. So normally we want to find X هون, and the X is on once again هي result of or AX equals Y. So again, if we add A minus 1 in both for the two sides, left and right sides, هيصير عنا X is A minus 1 times A, same as here, X equals A minus 1 times A. So again هون ال X هي, we are doing the following. In order to find X, we can say that X equals A minus 1 times Y, sorry. So we will get هون a 3 by 1 matrix لأنه هون 3 by 3 and 3 by 1 يعني 3 by 1 matrix. كمان حنحطها green for example, equals M mult, we are multiplying A minus 1 يعني ال M inverse of A. This is our first part of the multiplication, and then the second part is this one. And now we can click on Ctrl Shift Enter. في شيء typo غلط بس it's okay. 3, 2, 1 هن ال values of x1, x2 and x3. So هيدا x1, x2 and x3 هول 3 values اللي نحن كنا عم نجرب عليهم. Okay. بتصور هول هن that's it for these for this exercise or exercises of this chapter 32. As I've told you already on Classroom, I will not be explaining the remaining part of chapter 8. We will take a break for now. I wish you great holidays وإن شاء الله ينعاد عليكم جميعا, and we'll see you maybe next week on next Tuesday for a lecture based on chapter 8. So we will continue explaining chapter 8. Okay, thank you for listening and see you soon. Yalla, bye bye.